It's battery day today, so this is the big one. We're installing our lithium batteries. Well, first we got to build a lithium battery. These 4 cells give me the same as 200 amp hours of lead acid battery, or AGM. Here's our first battery pack that I've already built up, or partly built up, and I'm going to go through how I made it. We're going to build the second one together so you can see how it constructs, but it's really simple. And this little bunch of wires is easy to connect. You'll see that happening in the process as we build the next pack. These are the cables that go to the battery management system, and that monitors the voltage at each cell and adjusts it accordingly. So if one cell is a little high, it slows down the charging to that cell. If another cell is a little low, it speeds up the charging to that cell. And so it just looks after your battery for you. It's a really neat idea. It's something that if you're running lithium cells, you've got to have. And if you go and buy a ready-made battery from Battleborn or somebody, that's all built into the box that the battery comes in. They put it in a case so it looks like conventional AGM battery from the outside, and it's got all the right dimensions, so it's easy to swap out. But inside it's just got cells plus this battery management system. And so if I slide this one out of the way, and we'll bring in some of these cells. So I've got to get these round the right way, otherwise we're going to end up with the wrong voltage at the end of the day. We've got our 4 batteries, so I'm going to take positive and negative off for my 12 volt system. So I've got to make these 3 deliver that, so all I'm going to do is join the cells together with these bus bars. So negative to positive, negative to positive, negative to positive, all the way around. It's really simple. We're just going round in a little loop really, and then we end up getting negative and positive, which quadruples the size of each cell. So that's a straightforward way it happens. In amongst it, we've got to put the balance cables on. Right, so we have here our balance cable for this pack, and if you can see this, it's pretty straightforward. So they're all laid out in line, and so this will be cell number 1, cell number 2, cell number 3, cell number 4. You just use them in order, and we're going to do it starting and working round. Pretty easy. This black wire goes to our negative here, and then this is cell number 1, 2, 3, 4 on the positive. So it's got the 1 negative and 4 positives. So we'll crimp a few terminals on, and we'll start sticking this on. And the trick is you want to have as good a contact as possible with all this sort of stuff, so crimp some decent terminals on. And there's been a robbery here. Someone's stolen my crimpers. Oh, they're over here. Okay, I found them again. Okay, so we got our negative wire. This is our main negative terminal to feed off from. So we're now going to go to this positive, and we just hold this flat, and we're going to go to the wire next to the black one. That's cell number 1, and that's the cable for cell number 1. So we'll slip a bolt through it. We've got these copper bus bars. They are brilliant. They come with the batteries, and you can see they're really quite thick. In fact, they're very thick. They're heavy duty copper bus bars. So you'll notice while I'm putting this bus bar on, I'm carefully keeping hold of this bus bar the whole time, so there's no accidental swing round and touch this or anything. We've got to be really careful here. when we're putting this together. Now, one of the things that you can do is grab a bit of fabric and in the absence of something better, you can throw a shirt over it, and now you can start to work with this. If this accidentally falls while it's touching my shirt and not shorting out on the rest of the terminals, and so it just avoids any accidents. I can't emphasize that enough, how careful you've got to be. You don't want a big short with these batteries. But once we get them installed, of course, we'll have fuses in the system that will cope with that. So we're going to go to our cable again, black one, cell number 1, the next one along is cell number 2, and we'll just keep repeating the process all the way around. It's pretty straightforward. In fact, it's very straightforward. And that's your battery made. The next component is going to be this. So this is, turn it around this way, let's get it so you can see it. This is a DALI BMS battery management system. So this is 100 amp hour, 12 volt, 4 batteries in series, 4S, 12 volt, 100 amp hour, right? And so we can run 100 amps. We can draw 100 amps off through this if we want. I mean, it's a really nice piece of kit. It's got a cooling fan in the end here. It's got lugs where you can screw it onto something, bolt it on, do whatever you want, or you can use double-sided tape. There's a whole heap of options with these, and they're really easy to connect. So B for battery, that goes to the battery negative. This goes to the load. So the battery negative feeds into this, it comes out of this, and this goes to your load. It's pretty simple. The only problem that we've got is that this hole is a bit small in here. So we've got a choice. We can either take that crimp off and put another one on, or drill that hole out. And I'm going to try and drill that hole out, just slightly bigger. So we've got one of these for each of our little battery packs we're just making. So this one will run these 4 cells. And at the end of the day, these 4 cells are the equivalent of 200 amp hours of AGM, which is like, whoa, that's a lot. So what I'm going to do now, I'm kind of getting it all together, is I'm going to put some stuff called some Kapton tape around this to hold it all together initially. So this is Kapton tape, and I'm just doing what the experts tell me. They tell me we've got to use this, so this is what we're doing. So I'll put a link in the description as to where these batteries came from. We bought them direct from China. All this stuff's made in China pretty much, and yeah, we bought them direct from Chinese company who gave great service. I mean, really good. I had a couple of questions, I emailed them, they answered back very quickly, and they posted them over. I mean, it was a really simple process, and there we go, battery pack. So all we've got to do is tighten these down, and we're in business with this, and we'll move on to the next phase. So I'm going to get the next bit, which is our box. We're going to build, both of these packs are going to be built into a box, and that's going to drop straight in where I'm lifting our old batteries out. Having got our two packs built up together and put together, all I've done now, I've made a clamp for these to make them into one unit. So I've got two pieces of board with some threaded rod, and just got some dome nuts. So that's our pack made, all bolted together. And I've got some webbing that I'm going to use. So I'm going to use this webbing that go around underneath to make some handles to be able to lift it in and out with. So it's easy. And so the next job is to fit our BMS on the end here. This is the one that's going to go to the battery negative, and then this is going to be for our load, and it'll sit on this end, and I'll get one to sit on that end. Just there, and that's my battery pack made. You could, if you covered this with something that was insulated, you could sit these on top here. I mean, there are lots of options. We don't have a lot of height. We're only just going to get this in for height. So, but I do have a little bit of spare length. So it's going to go in like that. So this sort of squarish configuration may not suit everybody, but as you've seen, as I was building these cells, I could have had 4 cells in series and made a battery this rectangular shape this way, but for me it worked this way. I mean, you can build them how you want, really. There are so many options, it's great. We've got our one battery all done, and I'm about to do this second one. I've got the wiring here for the battery management system. So we start off with negative, positive from this cell to negative to positive to negative to positive to negative, and we got our positive here. So it's pretty straightforward. So these holes are a bit on the small side. I'm going to drill them out, and then they'll fit there. Let's have a go at that. Pretty sure if I hang on to this with a pair of mole pliers, I can drill straight through it. Fantastic, usual boat project stuff. A nanosecond away from drilling a hole in your leg or your hand or your head, but I don't have a vice. I am in the workshop at the moment. Shortly it will become the restaurant. Shortly after that it'll become the reading room, and then it'll become a bedroom. I mean, it's just, you know, the good old saloon does everything here. My favourite drill, I've got a Ryobi drill that I bought in America, oh, I don't know, 7 years ago probably, on one of our trips across the Atlantic. I bought it in the States, and it's a 7.5 volt one. Well, usual old job, the batteries didn't last very long, so I now have it, got it wired, a wire coming out the bottom, and I have it hooked up to a burglar alarm battery. 12 volts. Works really well. Flies through everything. Right, okay. So now we should be able to start connecting up this BMS. Oh, look at that, bolt fits, that's good. That's good news when the hole you've drilled is the right size. Right, here we go. So I'm going to screw this battery management system box on the side here. I don't know why, I just assumed this this orange tape, this Kapton tape, was going to be really difficult to use, but actually it's great, it's really good stuff. I'm just going to cover the back up here with a bit of tape, insulate it all off. Actually, I'm going to do that separately. There we go, look at that, nice. When I connect the main battery leads up, I'll put a bit more over these ends, and so there's our battery pack. So that's for £510 sterling UK, like that's GBP for people who want to look up the conversion. That's the lead acid equivalent of 400 amp hours, which is a bit of a bargain. All we do is we connect our main boat positive to this and our main boat negative to this one down here, and we've got one over the back here. We've got a negative over the back here and a positive, so we just hook up to those and we're good to go. Fantastic.